welcome to the Joshua World Talk Show. This is kind of a continuation, isn't it?
Okay.
Yes, and we can start off with, how about we talk about that 28 Chevy?
Oh my goodness, that was fun. When I married in 1944, we didn't have a car, so my husband was coming home from the air base one day, and he looked over here at this gas station. He saw this car sitting out there, and he come home. He said, "What do you think I check on it and see how much they want for it?" I said, "Go ahead if you want to." So he did, and he purchased it for about, I don't know, maybe $75. It wasn't much.
Oh, wow.
And because back then, you know, they had the little skinny tires, and it had stick shift. You had to do down to the floor.
Yeah.
And but he got that thing going, and we went everywhere in that thing. I wish I still had it. We had more fun.
Yeah.
There I was driving around, no license, no insurance, nothing. I dodged the police because I was supposed to have a little sticker in the window. I didn't have that. And but I would run up to Mother. She lived about a mile from us, and I'd come home, and I wouldn't go far. But before my husband got back from going to engine training in Seattle, it broke down.
Oh, no.
And I had to tell him when he come in, I said, "Honey, the car quit on me." Oh. And he said, you know, he didn't get me. He said, "That's all right, I'll fix it." So I had to ask this woman to let me leave it in front of her house because I couldn't drive it home. She said that would be fine. So when he come, he pushed it all, because back then you could push those cars around. You can't do it now.
Can't really do it now.
But you could push them around. So we pushed it up to his friend's house, and he worked on it, and he got it going, and we had a ball.
How fun. Well, you know, we were talking about it's a little bit sort of kind of warm, and we were talking about all right, there seems to be a story about this ceiling fan up here.
Oh yeah, there is.
Can you tell me about what happened?
Well, Marla's, my sister-in-law, made these fish things that had the fish eyes on them, and you could hang them on so you could pull the strings, you know. So I had one up there. So Tori had her bridesmaids, all of them here, before she got married. And they all stayed here and spent the night. Well, they got to cutting up, and I think they got to yanking on it till it kind of hurt the fan. And I didn't say nothing. I didn't know it until they left. And so it won't do now, but one speed.
One speed.
So that's okay, but that all happened when her bridesmaids was here. They just had a ball.
That's fun. Yeah. Tell me about some of your friends when you were growing up in Iowa. And well, I know you still have one really close friend.
Oh yeah. She's still my friend. You know, I didn't have any childhood friends, not other than high school. Because I lived so far out in the country, there was nobody out there. So I didn't have that close of friends, but Betty Lou and I made friends, and she lived up the road from me, a little further than my neighbors. And we tap danced in a military tap in the high school play.
Military tap.
And we done good, and the other two had another two, and they messed up, but she and I didn't mess up. And we done great. But anyway, we went everywhere together, and would still if I was close enough to her.
Yeah, I love it when Betty Lou comes to visit.
She's a mess, and
a good mess.
But you talk about a little straight-laced gal. She was straight-laced,
yes.
Very, very. And then, but I had other friends, as Virginia and Pat and Ruth, but anyway, they all got married after I left, and so. But they're all passed away now, said Betty Lou. Yeah. Anything else?
Imagine. Well, I don't remember a whole lot of friends growing up. I don't remember their names very well. But when I lived in Massachusetts, went to a really large high school. I was a big part of the music programs there. And, I still have several friends from when I was there that I still communicate with. But my last 2 years of high school were in Westbrook, Connecticut. And that was kind of a short amount of time to make any lifelong friends, but I did make some pretty, really good friends. One, her name is Susan, and another one, her name is Sharon, and then there was a girl named Laura. But
well, don't you have a reunion sometimes?
I've never been. To any of the reunions. No, we have in the musical reunions, yeah.
Yeah, that's
with the group called Harmony. That was up in the group in Massachusetts. A musical group up there. But just really don't communicate too much unless it's with the music group.
Well, that's good though.
Because I went straight into the Navy right out of high school.
Yeah.
So.
But you sang there too, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I went in for as a singer.
Yeah.
But anyway,
see how you do that. You'll have to wait just a minute till we get another one of the answers. She'll find it in a minute in her little whatever that is.
Whatever this thing is.
Phone book.
I'm trying to. Where are you? Hello. Alrighty. Well, anyway. Okay. Question. How did you do at school based on the way people were to you?
Oh, I was friendly with everybody, and I never was shunned. I never was bullied. I asked my girlfriend, Betty Lou, I said, do you remember being bullied in school? She said, I never heard of it. So it wasn't going on. If it was, I didn't know nothing about it.
I mean, you hear stories about, girls' pigtails being put in the ink wells and stuff like that.
That didn't happen. I didn't have pigtails.
Yeah, or boys pulling girls' hair and stuff like that. Anything like that?
No.
Nothing?
No.
See, I guess that started as...
The only thing in grade school, I used to go out in the recess and play marbles with the boys. Mm-hmm. They liked to play with me because I was competitive. Mm-hmm. And another thing that I always wanted to do is run me down and try to kiss me. And they'd back me up in a corner, and I said, yo, get out of here, leave me alone. And so... Anyway, that's all. I had good times. I mean, they all wanted me to play with them. I got along with boys better than girls. And, but I would beat them in marbles. And, oh boy.
Did you ever lose your marbles?
No, I gained my marbles. Mother couldn't afford a lot. She gave me one little sack. And I've still got the big sack in there of marbles. So, but I'd get recess. I couldn't wait to get out there. But we'd dig a hole in the ground, and then we have. So you get it behind the line, then you have a lag line. You all shoot for see who gets closer to the line. And then they go first. So that's the way we played. And I don't know what it was called, but if you got your marble in the pot, you get them all. So, but I got it in there, and they loved to play with me, though. I loved it. Yeah.
Well, I guess I was in a period of school where bullying started happening, and it was like, I'm guessing the 60s and the 70s. And times were changing. Times were changing, and there were lots. There was a lot more communication going on in the world.
Yeah.
You had television and, of course, radio.
See, we didn't have a TV.
Yeah.
Or barely had a radio.
Yeah.
Because when I was out in the country, I didn't have electricity. So when Dad was living, I had a battery radio. And we had a little one of those big megaphones on top. I don't know what they called them. Of course, when he passed away, I don't know where it went. I have no idea, but
there's no telling.
I was little. I was 9, and so anyway, we didn't have that to contend with.
Yeah.
But we did when we moved in. We got a radio, and I'd watch Hit Parade on Saturday night.
You'd watch it on the radio. I get it.
Watch it. Well, we listened to it. I'm sorry. We didn't have TV.
But didn't you sit around and watch the radio?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
That's what people did. They sat around like they would around the TV, and they would just sit there and look at the radio and listen.
Yeah.
And boy, imagine, when was your first TV?
After I married and we lived here.
Okay. Yeah, oh, that's right. Yeah.
Billy was 6 and Danny was 3, I think. And Helen was a baby when we got our first TV. Yeah.
Like I was saying earlier, the bullying started. I was teased a lot growing up.
I never was. No.
Oh, I was big time. And nowadays it would have been, considered bullying and
teased you about what?
Anything and everything. I was not like my sister. And my sister was very popular, and I was not. And, the big thing was, I wouldn't do a lot of the things that my sister would do. And they teased me about it,
No, I never was.
I was.
Wasn't bullied.
Yeah. Tell me about your adventure with my clock in my apartment.
I went and spent the night with her. And
it was adoption day.
Yeah.
Yes, it was adoption day.
It was adoption day of Tori and Ben's children. Mm-hmm. And so I slept in her living room under the clock. And that thing ding dong every hour.
Every hour, and then chimed on the half hour.
Oh my goodness. And so anyway, the next time I stayed in a room by myself.
Yeah, that was Christmas time. That was Christmas time. And, but,
the couch was all right. I just couldn't sleep.
Yeah, understandably. But next time, if you ever stay on my couch, I will take the clock out of the room. I will do that. Okay, growing up, what was your lifestyle like? Did you have a room to yourself? Or
No. You're gotta be kidding. No.
Tell me about it.
Okay, we had one bedroom, and we had 2 twin beds in there.
Mm-hmm. Now, who all was we?
My mom and Jane and me.
Okay, so 3 of you. Okay.
My dad had passed away. I don't know what happened before he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't remember. I think he worked nights and he was gone. He slept in the daytime. I was gone to school, so I don't remember nothing. But anyway, I would sleep in one bed and Jane and Mother would sleep in the other bed. And anybody spent the night with me, I had a place for them in my bed. But nobody ever came out to the, except Virginia, she came one night. But when I moved to town, there was somebody there all the time. Because it was convenient. I was on the Carr Street line and we didn't have to do a lot of walking. You had to walk an awful long way to get to my house. And they didn't want to, and I don't blame them. Yeah. So, they would spend the night. We had a fold-out bed that fold up in the daytime. We undo that, and of course it leaves the sheets on it. You don't have to do that again. Let that thing down, and Betty Lou and I spent a many a night there.
Well, the second place you lived, though, it didn't have a bedroom. You all slept on a couch and the fold-out bed. Yeah, roll-away. Yeah.
We didn't have but a living room and a kitchen and a bathroom. That's all we had.
Yeah. Well, with me growing up, of course, I was born in New York, and we lived in an apartment. It was a 2-bedroom apartment, and my sister and I shared a room, and my brother actually had to have, his bed was in a closet, literally in a closet. It had a window, so he had a bed and dresser in a closet. So, I mean,
big closet.
It was pretty small. I thought it was big back then, but when we went back several years ago, they let us come in the apartment, and
Really?
I didn't remember that closet being that small. I mean, it just barely fit a twin-size bed, and then right under the window, I'm thinking that's where Larry had his his dresser,
goodness, really?
and there was just like a real slim part where he could walk, and that was it. My sister and I shared a room, and I thought we had a big room, but look at that room. I was like, how did we do it? How did we survive?
I had no idea.
And then we moved to Massachusetts, and it was a big brand new house, 11 rooms, 3 floors.
Now this other place was in New York, right?
This is in the other first place was New York. The second place was Massachusetts, just north of Boston. And it was an 11-room house, wonderful, 3-story. My sister and I again shared a room, and it was a good size, bigger than the one we had in New York. And my brother had a room just the same size that we had, but he had a lot of other stuff in his room. Daddy built him a big bench to work on because he would, he built things, electronical things. He built TVs, he built radios and things like that. And then when my brother got married, I got his room. So for the first time in my life, I had a room by myself. Then, right before my junior year, we moved to Connecticut, which was from a big 11-room house to 5 rooms and a bath. We moved to the cabin, and my bedroom basically at first was actually made smaller because they needed some of the room out of the bedroom to make the kitchen bigger, and so my walls were basically boxes. But I just made the best of what I had, and I had my bed and
was
my
Leo
dresser.
in there with you too?
On and off, yeah. She got married at one point when we were, we lived there.
She was younger than you.
No, older.
Oh,
Older.
You're the baby.
I'm the baby of the family.
Oh, okay.
And but anyway, when I graduated from high school, we still didn't have electricity. We still didn't have, a telephone. And but when I got back after joining the Navy and I went to boot camp, 9 weeks later, I came back to a house that had electricity and a phone. And I told my mom, I said, was I that expensive that you could afford it now? But it was expensive to get electricity back there. They had to dig a ditch all the way from, where they got the lien on the property that was next door to us. And it was probably a good quarter, half a mile from where their power place was. But they had a ditch digger and they buried the cables. And but, that's how I lived growing up.
Yeah.
And then, of course, join the Navy, you really didn't get a room by yourself until you moved off the base because everything was shared.
Yeah.
But, that's the way it was.
But you were willing to share. See, I was always back during World War II, and you didn't complain a lot.
No.
You had to give up for the soldiers.
Yeah.
And they had meat rationing, and you had to have a little coupon to get meat,
Yeah.
to get sugar, and you couldn't buy film. If you ever heard someplace had film, you run in and get in line,
Yeah.
and most of the time they run out before they got to you.
Yeah.
It just wasn't available during World War II, and everything went to our boys, which it should.
Yes.
And but everybody, I never heard no complaints. You did what you had to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. Move forward to basically this day and age. When they built South Hartman Drive out there,
Oh, yeah.
I remember when they opened it up. I remember that.
Yeah.
But tell me some stories about riding on that road.
Well, I tell you, it didn't have no street lights. That was the darkest place I ever saw in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I was nervous, and I'd come home from church and get on Hartman Drive. And I was scared the whole time, even though I was in a car. But it was scary. I was so glad when they got street lights up out there. But now it's just like a racetrack. I mean, it's just, it's really something else.
Yeah.
But
I remember the way you used to have to go to church.
oh yeah,
Going on Franklin Road,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. It
Yeah.
took a lot longer
oh yeah.
to get to church than it does now.
It takes me about
Church.
10 minutes. to get
Yeah,
there.
it used to take, about 20?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to go around.
Yeah, all the way around.
Go around by the airport.
And through the neighborhoods and everything.
Yeah.
And then go down Franklin Road.
Yeah,
I remember all that.
It's changed a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's a hop, skip, and a jump. But
I think that's the best street they ever put in Lebanon was Hartman
yes,
Drive.
that's kind of a bypass, isn't it?
Woo, yeah.
And of course, Hartman goes all the way up around, you know, until you get on
Does
231.
now,
You can go up to Hartsville.
Yeah.
Yeah, really best bit of engineering I think they did with this area.
Done
It was
good.
really good.
Somebody did.
Yeah. Do you remember in 2015 the Miss Universe pageant? The big epic fail at the Miss Universe pageant where the guy Steve Harvey announced. You remember that?
Yeah.
That was probably the most shocking thing. You know, it was like a shot heard around the world.
That has never happened before.
Oh, it had never happened before.
No.
He had the card with the last two people on it, and evidently, at I don't know how it was set up, but he read off the wrong name.
Yeah.
And you talk about an epic fail. You know, they had the crown on her and everything.
Had to take it off.
And of course the judges were like, wait a minute, whoa, or whoever it was, that wasn't right. And he had to come back and he had to kind of eat crow. He had to eat his words. Oh,
It was sad.
It was embarrassing. It was hard for the girl that actually came in as first runner-up because she had to give up the crown.
Yeah.
And, but they had him come back the next year.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a humorous event because they wanted to make sure that...
He hated that it happened.
Oh,
he
he
apologized
did.
and apologized. Bless his heart.
That was rough.
I don't know whether they give it to him wrong or I don't know.
Yeah.
But
they made sure that it was right this year. he could make light of it. But, the one thing that I love about doing all this is the fact that Joshua has this Joshua World.
yeah.
And we've been looking at some of the videos that he's put out on YouTube and stuff, and it's just fun to watch. How he can take the bits and pieces of a video and put them together and edit them. And, I love when we do like Agnes and Lily. And, he's doing Super World now, and oh goodness, that scared me. I got a message.
That's Super World.
Of all the videos you've seen so far, I think my favorite one is the Lost Cookie.
Oh.
Agnes and Lily, you ate my cookie. But
then you had to apologize.
I had to eat crow. No, but that was fun. But that's a good example of making a mistake and getting angry and all that stuff. But then seeking forgiveness and being forgiven. That was a really good moral story, to present, because I was accusing you of this and that, and then I had to go, oops, I blew it. Will you please forgive me? I'm sorry, please forgive me.
Right.
But he's got so many videos out now.
He's got a lot.
600 something.
So, but coming back on some of the ones he's releasing now, it's got Danny on there, and it's just good memories. Danny was such a good sport. And
he was. He'd done everything that Josh should ask him to do.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try.
I just recently watched Granny's Time Machine.
Oh.
And you talk about fun. He would play the part, and you were Granny Dot. And what was Daddy? What was his character's name?
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. Yeah, Jeffrey was Daddy's name. And who was I? Who did I play?
Don't you remember?
I don't remember.
Professor Maxine.
Oh, Professor Maxine.
I mean Inventor Maxine.
Inventor Maxine. Yes, I was Inventor Maxine. And just fun stuff.
What was I?
Granny Dot.
Granny Dot.
That's who I am.
And it's Granny's Time Machine because it was your house and everything.
Oh.
Granny's Time Machine.
I never did get the time machine thing very good.
Oh, you did. You did great.
Yeah.
And the way he edited it went really well.
No.
It did.
It's been great to be with you. We'll see you later.
Alrighty.